Hey guys, Jesse here. So in this video, I want to answer the question, is longboarding safe? So if you're looking to get into longboarding, you may be wondering, is that for me? Is that too risky? Is that too dangerous? You know, I know some people who've hurt themselves, sprained an ankle, or broke something. Well, longboarding is not inherently a dangerous sport. It's basically as dangerous or safe as you make it. So some of the factors that will determine how dangerous it is for you is how fast you're going to be going, where you're going to be riding, and you're going to be on the open road or on safe sidewalks, what kind of protection gear you're going to be wearing, and overall what kind of riding style you plan to do on your longboard. Are you going to be doing, downhill speed or just mellow riding or, crazy tricks? So let's start, say, with cruising. Let's say you just want to cruise around the beach or in the park. So you're going to be mostly going at slow speeds, somewhere between 5 and 15 miles per hour, for example. And at these kinds of speeds, there's very little that can happen to you. Of course, you can always hit a pebble or a crack, and that will stop you short in your course, and then you may fly off the board. But in most cases, you can just run it off. And even if you can't, you may fall on your hands or maybe knees. So you can get some wrist guard protections or some knee pads that will save you from getting road rash. But that's about it. You can also loosen your front truck a little bit more so that your board turns more easily, and you can more easily avoid these obstacles, so these little stones or these cracks. Okay, now let's say you want to get a longboard for free riding. You're into free riding, you want to ride downhill, and you want to do some slides, you want to do some carves. Now, obviously, that's going to be a little bit riskier than just cruising around, since you're going to be going faster and downhill. However, freeriding is about controlling your speed, right? It's about, sliding at the right time to keep your speed in check. And you want to do those speed checks and those carves to make sure you're not going too fast. But there's always a chance that you're going to mess up a slide. Let's say you put too much weight on your rail or not enough, and you press too hard, and you just fly off your board, and you can, possibly hurt yourself. What you need is some good protection. You need a good helmet, a certified helmet. You need some elbow pads and some knee pads. Especially the knee pads are important, because if you're going too fast and you can't foot brake anymore because of the speed, you can always, jump off and slide on your knees. That will make you stop eventually. Very important, you need some solid sliding gloves, especially if you're going to be doing some Coleman slides. You could be doing some hand down slides, so you need some good gloves. And if you're not sure which pads to get, check out my post on ridingboards.com/safety, and you'll find some suggestions of pads that you can get for free riding. Now, if your thing is speedboarding and downhill racing, obviously your risk level is higher, since you're going to be riding at speeds of 50 to 60 miles per hour. You're going to need to gear up and get a full leather suit, a full head helmet, some back protection, and some really sturdy sliding gloves. Now, the downhill longboarding community is very safety conscious, and they're very well prepared. So when there's a race event, for example, the roads are closed off and there's emergency preparation and so on. So again, while these downhill longboarding activities do involve some risk, if you're prepared for them and if you gear up properly, then chances are you're not going to get injured from doing these activities. One activity that's even more dangerous than that is simply daily commuting or distance traveling on the longboard. Why is that? Because a lot of riders just ride on the open road in open traffic. And that's probably the most dangerous thing there is. That's where most accidents happen. Obviously, you're going to be wearing a helmet and some pads in case you fall. But if you're going to get hit by a car, well, that's not going to save you from going to the emergency room, right? So definitely always abide by the road rules. That's very important. So you should stick to your lane, don't skip lanes, and make sure you respect all the road signs, the traffic lights, the stop signs, the one-way streets. Just always be really predictable for the drivers around you. Make sure you're on the lookout and try to see what they're going to be doing, if somebody's going to be making a right turn in front of you. And the last thing is know how to foot brake so that you can stop on really short notice. Practice that foot braking technique, because it might save your life in road traffic. One question that people ask a lot is how dangerous is or how safe is longboarding versus skateboarding. Surprisingly enough, a study has shown that longboarders actually get more accidents, more serious accidents, than skateboarders. Head fracture, traumatic brain injury, intraskull bleeding. There are more longboarders getting into these kinds of injuries than skateboarders. And the reason is that skateboarders, even if they do crazy tricks, usually are prepared. They're at the skate park, they're wearing helmets and pads, and they're in a controlled environment. Whereas longboarders, a lot of times, are not even wearing a helmet. They're not aware of how fast they're going because these longboards are so comfortable and so easy to go fast on. And a lot of riders just don't know how to stop. They're not used to foot braking and they can't stop on a dime. So they get hit by a car or they get pushed into a curb or into a street lamp, and that's how accidents happen. And that's what makes longboarding dangerous compared to skateboarding. So to conclude, just make sure you take the right precautions, depending on your riding style and your environment. Avoid riding in open traffic unless you have to. If you can, just go into bike lanes or sidewalks. Also, make sure you have a good quality boards, a good quality deck, and some good big wheels with good traction, soft enough to just roll over obstacles as opposed to stopping you short and sending you flying off your board. Make sure you wear the right protections, and most of all, do abide by the traffic rules. That will keep you safe. It's kept me safe for a long time, and I hope it'll be the same for you.